Leo says, hey, Derek, wouldn't you suggest first save at least 10 months of your lifestyle before starting investing? I know there's inflation. It wouldn't. How long would it take you, though, to save 10 months of your lifestyle? When everybody has this fucking myopic short-term focus, just this little blinders on in the short term. How long would it take you to do that versus, and meanwhile, those people will procrastinate even learning about investing. Meanwhile, they'll procrastinate even learning about shit because that's not their goal. Their goal is, I'm just going to save for a while. I'm just going to save up. But you know what's going to happen while you're saving up that 10 months? Are you going to be able to save 10 months worth of lifestyle in 10 months? Nope. So in those years, in the few years that a normal person, that a 50th percentile person would take to save those 10 months earnings, or that's 10 months living expenses, in the years that it would take you to do that, you know what else is going to happen? Life. Life is going to happen. And, your family member is going to have an emergency, and you're going to want to spend some of that money to help them. And then your fucking cat's going to fucking break its fucking toe or some shit. And you're a dumbass, so you're going to take it to a vet and pay $3,000 for its little fucking toe to get a little toe splint or some shit. Then what else is going to happen? Then your alternator is going to fail, and there's a few $100, and you're going to need some new tires, and the fucking new Xbox or whatever distractionary bullshit's going to come out. You're going to buy that. And then, that 10 months earnings might take you a decade or more. And meanwhile, you say, well, it's not my goal to learn about investing. It's not my goal to learn about a business. It's not my goal to learn about it because I'm still saving, right? I'll learn that stuff later. And then a whole fucking decade of your life goes by and you're still a broke fool. So does that sound like a good plan? I think that sounds like a terrible plan. I started learning this shit as a child. As a child, I started learning this stuff, It's you got a lot of catching up. That's like me, thinking, some of these tech guys, I went to school with a lot of people. I went to graduate school with a lot of people. They're, Indian or other permutations of Asians. And in that culture, many of those people, they start learning about computers and tech stuff. They're like a little child, They're like a little baby and they're learning about computer science and tech stuff. I don't try to compete in that area because, those people, many of them, the ones that I went to grad school with, they have similar IQ as I do, a couple points more, a couple points less. We have a similar IQ, and they just focused on that for 25, 30 years, So I'm not going to start learning the tech stuff. Better for me to have one of those guys help me with that. Better for me to talk about that, with them. I'm not going to learn to be a heart surgeon. It's not I don't give a shit about it. It's not my calling. So, there's a lot of things I'm not going to learn about. But understanding how global markets work is everybody better know about that. You're literally the entire quality of your life, your lifetime earnings, and which when we talk about money just means your freedom. Nothing important. Just your fucking freedom. That's all. Just your ability to spend your time the way you'd like to, instead of spending your time the way you feel like you have to. Nothing important. It's just your life. Your whole life is comprised of just a series of little moments. If you don't spend those moments, educating yourself to have more financial freedom, you're not going to have any. You're going to be a little peasant worker, stuck in a barrel of piss. Pretending the yellow that engulfs you is sunlight. Pretending it's yellow, sunlight and gold. No, it's piss. Don't spend your life swimming in piss. Stop lying to yourself and stop making up these preposterous things like, how do I get money overnight? How do I, shouldn't I save? You can't save your way to prosperity. You know what I did is I had a lot of debt when I was young. I had student loan debt. I had scholarship money too. And I still took every penny in student loans that I could because, for the interest rate you were paying on that was nothing. And then I leveraged that. I bought houses. I used some of that student loan money to buy houses. I used some of the student loan money to fund my business stuff. And I made more money from the houses and more money with the business stuff. And then bought more houses and a couple apartment buildings and so on and so on. And pretty soon you have a lot of money coming in. And you could say that there was a lot of debt. There's several $1 million in debt. While I was still in my 20s. At 26, I remember being 26. I tell this story sometimes, but at 26, I had a negative net worth. And I remember I was in Chicago. I walked down Michigan Avenue. There's a Neiman Marcus store around the 600 block, 700 block of Michigan Avenue. I remember walking down right in front of that store. There was a homeless with a change cup, and looking for some quick cash. And then I thought to myself, you know what? This fucking guy's got $250,000 more than I do. Yeah, I got a negative net worth at the moment. Right? Why did I have a negative net worth at that moment? So, well, I had a lot of real estate, and that was starting to go in the toilet. Some of those investments were not in great shape at that moment. I never had any bankruptcy. I never had a personal bankruptcy. I never even had a business bankruptcy. So I was always able to pay my bills long term, took care of all that like a big boy, But at that time, I had student loan debt, I had credit card debt, I had mostly real estate debt, and less than 3 years later, I was 26 when I looked at their bum and I thought, this bum's worth more than me. Bum's doing better than I am. I got a beautiful home with nice oak floors and a fireplace, but the bum's richer than me, higher net worth. Less than 3 years later, I had my first $1 million. Why did that happen? Oh, real estate, investing in education, investing in my business stuff, investing in real estate, understanding global markets. And then the 2008, 2009 recession happened. And then I got to multiply money in the couple of years after that. Because, why? Because was it a get-rich-quick scheme? No, I just spent years before that. I spent 6 years in college up to that time, studying a lot of finance, understanding math, understanding statistics, all this nerdy shit nobody wants to study, all the nerdy stuff that nobody has the patience to study, because they got a couple $100 and they want to make a lot of money right now. So why take the time to actually learn something? So, that helped me multiply that, and I had a much better financial situation. Then I could take that and go back to real estate investing after the market pivoted again, and so on and so on and so on. And you compound that a few times and you start to have a whole lot of freedom in your life. And I just worked until I was 33. I don't get this idea, these people they got a shit work ethic and they think they're going to have magical outcomes, going to have extraordinary outcomes with a below average work ethic. How would you have above average outcomes with below average inputs? How the fuck would that happen? Does that make sense to anybody? How the fuck would that happen that you would make a below average effort and consistently get above average outcomes? Let alone extraordinary outcomes. How the fuck would that happen? It's the most naive thought that a human has, We've all had it at some time. The real difference is like, did you identify like, that's really a stupid thought. I better go do something else. This shit ain't gonna work out. I bet everybody's had that thought. I've had those thoughts. I bet everybody's had those thoughts, but the smart people are like a minute later, like, wait a minute, that shit's not gonna work. That's fucking stupid. I better just get back to work and do something industrious so I can actually deserve a good outcome. Charlie Munger is Warren Buffett's business partner. I like saying this quote because it's a fantastic quote, but he says the best way to get what you want in the world is to deserve it. He said, how would the world be so insane to go highly rewarding a bunch of undeserved people? That made a lot of sense to me. It made a lot of sense to me. Moneyberg Mentoring is a general business course of like how to think and what are the fundamentals of business. This is a program about helping you make better decisions. I'm trying to give you some frameworks for how I'm thinking about things and how it's allowed me to go make more money. Just to say again, it's like, well, you're probably going to die sooner than you'd like. So how much time do you want to spend with the wrong people? This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a get-rich. Anything that I included as a homework assignment is something that's going to benefit your life long term. Derek, what's the one big thing? The one big thing is that you showed up here. I'm just saying, hey man, you can do a lot better, and you're going to.